message from the King, a message from the King, a message from the King.
Good afternoon. It's that time of year again where I come to you with some sort of mad festive message. A tradition in the last few years has been either myself or Dave or Jenny stick on a bit of kit and do some sort of tongue-in-cheek, in-character message. Maybe do a little speech, read a little story, something like that. I didn't do that last year because it felt a little bit, I don't know, disingenuous. Just didn't feel quite right to, in such a hard year, do a message like that. And I'm not doing that again this year. I'm doing this. I'm doing the same thing that I did last year. Not an in-character thing. Just a message from me. I've not prepared anything. I've not written anything down. I wanted to say something a little bit more personal. So I'm just babbling off the cuff. But here we are once again, towards the end of December, towards the end of another year. Not the year any of us wanted, but perhaps the year some of us suspected that we might get. Not ideal, by any stretch of the imagination. It's been a hard year. But around this time of year, I spend a lot of time thinking about you lot. I say that as if it's just around this time of year that I think of you lot, which isn't quite true, because despite what some people say, I don't think there is an NPC off switch. And I spend a lot of my time, as do the rest of the team, across the year thinking about you lot. But at this time of year, I do think about you lot a lot. A lot. And it's not just because it gets to this time of year and we have this tradition of the faction team leader doing a silly Christmas message or something similar. But it's because of the season itself. Across a variety of the cultures across the globe, the winter festivals have a common theme, and that is merrymaking and companionship. So of course, when I think about those things, I think about you. I think about the Harts. Merrymaking and companionship. That's what we do. That and the other element of the season being a shining light against the darkness. So I spend a lot of time around this season thinking about you, thinking about the Harts, and then thinking about what to say in this message. And this is what started out as a jokey play on the Queen's speech and has been carried on by successive command teams. And I spent a bit of time in my own head going, ooh, needs to be some sort of message of hope, some message of inspiration. And then I thought to myself, no, it doesn't. That's not my job. My job isn't to inspire you and make you hopeful. I'm not actually your king. That's not what this needs to be. I need to not be in my own head about it so much. But I was musing on those concepts of merrymaking and companionship, and this season being, in my mind, intimately connected with not just the Harts, but LARPers in general. LARP is escapism and community, isn't it? At the heart of it. some people would argue that it's an excuse to dress up in silly clothes and beat up nerds. I would disagree. It's escapism and community. And what is, certainly in Northern Europe, the winter season, if not a season for escapism and community? Traditionally, in various places, people come together, they feast, they drink, they make merry, they keep those that they care for close to them, and they huddle together against the dangers and privations of winter. They escape the cold season with their community. And that's traditionally the celebration, isn't it? Most of us expect, around this time of year, to be able to spend time with those that we love and make merry. And that might not be possible for some of us this year. We might be worried about our safety. We might be worried about the safety of others. And that's totally fine. Like last year, it might be a slightly different season to the ones that we've grown up to expect. But that's fine. You make the right choices for you, and you crack on. But I'm aware that for some people, they might not have family or close friends, geographically or in terms of relationships, that they can spend that time with, even under normal circumstances. And I am aware that there are some number of people in that kind of situation who are in our faction. And so, rather than attempts to come at you with some heavy-handed message of hope and inspiration, what I thought I would do is come at you with a request. A request for kindness. If you've got a friend, an acquaintance, somebody that you know who is in that kind of situation, where they might not be able to spend Christmas with their loved ones, or however they mark the season, they might not be able to mark it in perhaps the way that they might want to. Today, another day, at some point, maybe just drop them a message. Wish them the best of the season, let them know that you're thinking about them. Might take you 5 seconds, but it could cause a smile that lasts the rest of the day for them. And that doesn't have to be a LARPer, a member of the Harts. Have a think about anybody that you know in that situation. And I know that that's not a big request, or even a request that's out of the norm for you lot. I'm well aware of that, and I'm sure that some of you have already done that, or are already in the process of doing that, or have plans to. Because merrymaking and companionship, escapism and community, that kind of behaviour is exactly what I've come to expect from the Harts. The amount of times that I've seen people go out of their way to help other people, throw cash at problems, lend people tents, kit, weapons, just take a few moments out of character in the field to check in on people, make sure they're alright, make sure they're fed and watered. Things outside of the field. The speed at which members of the Harts are willing to pitch in, volunteer, help out with things, it's fantastic. So I know it's not a big request or anything that's out of the ordinary. And seeing that kind of behaviour on Facebook, in the field, wherever, it makes me really, really proud. It makes me really, really proud. It makes me proud to be the faction leader, which is a fact I'm proud of anyway. But it just makes me proud to be a member of that faction. And I know it's not exclusive to the Harts, but you lot really do go above and beyond for each other. And it's absolutely wonderful to see. And my time with you has seen me go from engaging in a hobby that's a bit weird, some of my friends are interested in, to something that I put a lot of time, passion and energy into. That I've found some phenomenal people. Some people who I would count among my greatest and dearest friends in this faction. And that's why myself and the other members of the command team do the job that we do. Because of you lot. And again, it's not exclusive to the Harts. The volunteers in the other factions and guilds, the various teams around the field, front and back of house, they all do the things because the people are good. Because the people are welcoming and kind. And that escapism and community, this kind of hobby attracts broken people, however you want to interpret that word. And in my experience, in the field and elsewhere, it's the people that may have been broken by the world at various points, in various ways, that tend to be the kindest. So if you get a moment over the course of the season, check in on someone, drop them a line, make sure they're all right, wish them the best, put a smile on their face. Because it's been a heavy couple of years, and some of us have suffered losses, friends and family. Some of us have suffered pretty badly with coronavirus. Some of us are still suffering with long COVID or other health complications that have come out of the pandemic or as a result of coronavirus. As I said earlier, not the year that any of us wanted, but perhaps the year some of us suspected we were going to get. I don't think many of us expected to get any LARP this year, but the LT pulled off 2 main lines, and the feedback that I got from those was that everybody was sensible, which I know I was shocked too. LARPers being sensible, it's unheard of. The tarantulas have just held a social too, well, the other week, which is great. Some of us went to the main lines, some of us didn't. And those were the right choices for those individuals. Myself, I didn't go along to the main lines, and that was the right choice for me. And again, with that kindness element and that messaging someone to put a smile on their face, over the course of the 2 weekends, I lost count of the amount of messages that I got off people that were in the field saying, you know, we miss you, which was lovely. Really, really nice. So I know that if you chuck a message to somebody that might need it this Christmas, this season, this midwinter, Yule, Festivus, whatever you call it, I know from personal experience that it can make someone's day. Yeah, it's been a heavy year, hasn't it? But it's also worth, when you're dropping a line to someone else, just check in on them, to check in on yourself. And when you raise a cup to cheer who or whatever you do at this time of year, don't forget to cheer yourself as well. Because you're living and working through a really difficult time. You're attempting normality for a given value of normal, because you're a LARPer, in a really strange, stressful, exhausting time. And you might think to yourself, I'm just barely hanging on by a thread. And do you know what? That's still fantastic. You're doing really, really well, and you should be proud of yourself. So take some time to recognise that. Take a little time to muse on the fact that you've managed, the fact that you are surviving, that you're still doing the do, you're still doing the things. And give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back, because you deserve it. It's my sincere hope that we'll get to see each other next year. But we'll see what happens. Because none of us really know what's going to happen in the immediate future. And let's be honest, clearly the government don't know either. But we'll see what happens. Because it'd be really, really nice to get back into a field and just spend a bit of time with you. You know, doing the things that we do, playing the game that we play. But for now, I have rambled on long enough, so I will let you get back to whatever you're doing today. On behalf of Harts Command, from myself, Alex, Emily, Jack, and Fred, however you mark it, however you celebrate it, whether you do or you don't, we all wish you the very, very best of the season. Keep well, keep warm, stay safe, and have a very happy new year. And I hope, sincerely, that that happy new year features all of us getting back together again and having some fun together. Strength through unity, eh? Now go on. Get back to your dinner or your drink or your TV or your game, whatever you're doing. And have a lovely rest of the evening.